Mm, Yeah, you go.
Okay, guys. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so guys, this is May 8th. I think we're session 19. So, which was 19 since January. So, guys, so a couple things. One thing was the change. Um, I just decided to go away from the master class thing mainly because somebody had told me, oh, well, you can't really use that because of that master class thing that advertises. And
Mhm.
I was like, you know what, I'll just change it. And a friend of mine had this thing called it was like a business and he called it Compound and he had a lot of people that were doing some online businesses. And I thought this is kind of a cool name. So we've been using associates. I kind of call it private money associates. I just wanted to make it something different. And then I changed it to the three levels. There's Launchpad, which is kind of mastermind, the free one, and it's really nothing. We don't put anything there. And then I post stuff, but I don't like do it. You guys, the paid people get access to all the actual materials. And then the board will be one that we've been kind of kicking around for a couple of years. Kevin and me and Jesse and a couple other people. And boardroom's kind of a very it's going to be and everybody here is going to get access to it for free. It's just we're not going to put everybody at one time because some people will be overwhelmed. It's just there's going to be some higher level things that you have to kind of you can. I mean, if you want to come into it, you just got to understand there's going to be some stuff that you probably haven't heard of or done before, and you'll kind of like, and it's not saying that nobody can pick up, everybody can pick up on it. We got a smart group, everybody's intelligent. So I'm not saying that about people. I'm saying that it's something people have to make a decision at one point they want to come into it. Everybody can just slide into it. That's going to be like 3 sessions a week. So a lot of people don't have, it'll be more or less. There'll be people that don't do that only do one thing a week, and there'll be people that do two or people that do all three. And you can do all three if on your own. You can just pick up the sessions that you want. They're gonna do a little bit more like raising capital and funds stuff. So what we've also done, like I said, this week is I'm still working on. But this is for the PMA people that I've talked about, but we're going to incorporate you guys as well. Is that we're going to raise capital, and we've been working on a couple things with an investment bank called Joe Morgan, and that's probably going to happen towards the end of the year. So it's still some time out, but I'll start talking to you guys about it in June and July. And we did a session with just the PMA people. They've been doing this since 2019, 2020. So we had to kind of talk to them a little bit ahead before everybody else, and it's going to be raising capital. And obviously Zeke, Neil Peterson's in that group. You guys know Anthony and Angel and Scott. You haven't met Scott as much. Jesse, Jesse was actually the first person to come into PMA as a member. And she's actually about this time, well, actually first week in June in 2019. So we're doing that, and I'm still looking at doing an NFT or crypto thing. That really comes down to still the banking situation because where do you put the real money? So the fiat money. So I'm looking at that because it's there's a guy kicking around right now that he's trying to do an NFT for real estate, and he's saying that he's going to be compliant with the SEC, and it's like he isn't even registered with the SEC yet, and you can't do what he's doing without getting permission first. You remember back in February, March, I was talking about the SEC stuff. You do Regulation D fund, you don't have to tell the SEC anything until you've raised money. Well, in order to do what he's doing, you actually have to get permission. You have to go through an 8 9. I mean, it's literally 9 to 10 months just because there's like these waiting periods that are mandated by statute. So the SEC can't reply to you within they have to it's 30 days. There's like a period in between each time. Your lawyer sends stuff to them. They basically have to violate. They can't reply for 30 days. Like it's ridiculous, but it's how it works. And so if you go see like a lot of these deals, you go on the SEC's website, you got a lot of time on your hands and you want to like lose some vision because you're reading really, tiny font. You can actually read this and you can read it. You can read Grant Cardone's and you guys will see Jillian Sedoti all over it because she was his attorney. And it took about 9 months. And that was just trying to that was a regulation A. And regulation G, you don't have to get the SEC involved at all until you raise money. So that's kind of the two things we're doing right now for that. As far as organically, we got a number of deals. Like I said, Bill's working on a couple of deals. That 3,000 acre deal that he's been working on since January. Looks like that's going to go through. So Jesse's basically lining up. I mean, basically, if people have a good deal or something, they can take it to Jesse and he'll take it to Dan and help, get in front of Dan so Dan can make decisions on it. Dan is not doing the DSCR anymore. He was doing the DSCR program, but he's not able to do it anymore to the people he was doing it for. So things change a lot. I mean, things change quite a bit. And then just before I show these forms, I will tell you guys that the 2.0 is in a final revision. I got one last week, and then I had some things on it. And so now I'm having them just do a little bit more cleanup on it. It's just organization. If you guys saw the 1.0, it was the bottom had lender list 1, lender list 2, lender list 3. You had to click on them. Well, imagine now putting 7 more lender lists there. So you got 10 of them across. So it's just making sure that they're spaced properly. So it's more just some housekeeping. It's more some housekeeping stuff, and so it looks consistent. This week I'll be uploading 5 more forms, 3 more that deal with wholesaling, and then 2 more that are going to deal with scope of work and construction. So you're gonna have like 5 forms for construction, scope of work, draw schedules, probably 5 to 7 for wholesaling. In addition to some of the stuff we're gonna go, I'm just gonna try to do what I tried to do last week, and if it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna have, like I said, I'm just gonna have to break it down and do it so I can show you guys just on the video, and I have to do it myself. But I'd rather have people see what these, I have a couple forms. One is a wholesaling contract. One is our contact tracker, which is kind of just an Excel. It's an Excel program, but it's really solid for doing it basically does all your contacts that you're making, your networking, and it tracks your offers, and it does it over 12 weeks. So I'll show you now, you will kind of want to download it 2 or 3 times and mark them first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. It's actually searchable. So it's really good. It's in Excel. It's kind of just, and when we do the AI and the 100.io and all that stuff, you can actually use that and sync it into it. So you can actually pull you're having to do manual entry, but if you're making a contact, you're making an offer, you record it in there, it's going to track it all. And you can print all your spreadsheets and all that stuff here, tracking your business. That's a pretty cool thing to do. Let me go ahead and try to do that. So let me kind of bring up that content. Hopefully this goes good better than last week. All right, you guys able to see the form? Do you guys see a form that has like an orange header?
No, it just your list.
All we see is your menu.
Yeah. I don't know why I have to do it today, but
There, you got it.
cool. This is what I couldn't show last week. Okay, guys. So this is really a great spreadsheet. Let me kind of minimize my screen. So this is really a great program because you guys can see where you get group 1, group 2, group 3, and 4. This goes through 12. Each of these are weeks. So there's 12 of them. So when you guys use this really is a great program. I have it in the files tab, has contact tracker, but this is kind of a Excel version of a CRM. If you have something more sophisticated, cool. I'm trying to get this in the hands of a lot of the newer people. They just start needing to track all their information in their contacts. So as you guys see, it's cool because you can search it. You can pull up the different datas, and it doesn't let me do it now because here we go. The sort A to Z, sort to Z to A. You can do all kinds of there's some terms in here, filters, search, and all that. So it's really kind of cool. And you can go along to owner's contact information of anybody you talk to, your property information. So the cool thing is this is really cool. You can get up in here and you can do these codes like yellow letter 1, yellow letter 2. If you need yellow letters, let me know. I got a couple of them, but I'm going to change this up. You guys can also change it. You can wipe it out just by going up here and pushing delete and putting your own codes in if you want. But turnkey, if you got a marketing letter, phone call, postcard. So if you're still doing the old school ways of wholesalers and all that, people track it, you can do that, or you can just change it up if you want. And then of course you got the notes section. So this is a great program. Like I said, what I will do, I'm giving you guys a blank one so you can download, is that I would save this 4 times, and I'd mark it first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. That way you can build these because these are in 12-week blocks. So you got group 1 all the way through 12. So this is ideal. You can also pull up your networking event. So if you guys are going to meet a contractor or realtor, you're going to come on and do Monday night sessions, you can record all that. So that way you can start putting all the information. And here's where you can start putting information of people you talk to. you can put down their address, their city, their email address, phone number, and all your notes. So this is just a really good tracking system, data meeting, results of meeting. So you're going to go meet a contractor, you can record, hey, I did this and all this, and you can actually put this on like your iPad or your phone or something and actually put this information in there. It's a little harder with the phone, but you know, you got on like your laptop or your desktop or your iPad. Then you can also track your offers. So here you got your offers, you got your owner's name, contact information, the property information, and you got your offer information when your offer is submitted and when it expires. So, you know, if you're gonna, you know, today's the 8th, if the offer expires on Thursday, then you can put it expires, and then later on when you're doing the search terms, you can go and find out, you know, which ones have expired and which ones are still active. Plus you get your notes. So this is, like I said, a lot of people have some really, they're paying good money for HubSpot. HubSpot also is a free. Go ahead and use that too, but this is available for you guys. You want to use it. And I would just want to make sure that people know that this is like, we got a lot of forms that I've got probably 5 more that I'm going to be downloading this week or uploading for you guys to download. And so making sure that you guys can actually get forms you can edit. You can make these your own. Everything we have, you can make them. Some are form fillable. Some are copy and you can just copy and paste them. Some just give you a basis for, you know, if you can use AI and stuff now. There's some capture program for copying and pasting where you can put something in there and you can copy it and it'll make it, you know, it'll print you a good version of it. You can put your logos and all that stuff in it. So you guys any questions? Like I said, this is just a contact tracker. And I just contact, I'm going to put your mail and your calling information, your networking, and your offers. That's all the stuff you really need to be tracking in the 3 different areas. And that's phenomenal. So I like it. A lot of people like it. It's just very basic in Excel. So nothing really fancy about it. So I wanted to kind of show you that you guys can just download it, use it if you want. Like I said, nothing fancy. So look, get rid of that. Okay. And then people have been asking about the wholesale contract. So I have a few versions of it. This one is similar to what you guys are seeing, what the guys at Pace Morby and stuff are downloading. So it's very thorough. I had a lawyer look at this, a real estate lawyer in Denver, and said this is about as thorough as he thought he'd seen. So this is something you guys can actually download, and it's, you know, form fillable. I mean, you can pretty much click on and fill it out. And so this is a purchase contract and escrow instructions. So it's really good. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff in this one. You've got your property address, your legal description, you know, you got the property information. It talks about sections 1.1 and 1.2. So it gives you where you can go, you know, it gives you answers of where you have to go back to put information in. You get your earnest money, the purchase price, when you know, escrow closes, escrow agent, who that is, the parties, your inspection period. The other thing I would add to this is that you guys want to put in government business days where, you know, people will talk about business days, you know, hey, it's a Monday, you know, but government business days means you might get Memorial Day covered it. And if you forget that, you know, so you don't lose a day on your, you know, all of a sudden your earnest money becomes non-refundable because you know, a holiday pops up and you didn't have, somebody comes back and tries to use that on you to make it go, you know, to make it go hard. You know, there's a difference between hard when it goes hard and when it's like soft, or, you know, when it's refundable versus non-refundable. And so you always want to use, if you can, just write as many, you know, obviously it's 2, you know, contracts are 2 parties. So if they disagree on that, then, you know, you guys can hash it out, but you can tell them government business days because, you know, the government isn't open on Memorial Day. And, you know, so that way you guys, it's a weird thing too, because in Denver has like 2 extra holidays that are city holidays, which is just so weird. They honor some, one's a labor leader or something like that. Another guy like died or something, worked for the city. His name's Corky or something. He was like a labor like guy. So they have 2 extra holidays that most cities don't. And some cities have that, you know. You might get that in New York or Chicago or somewhere. You know, and like some places like Denver, they'll actually celebrate St. Patrick's Day as whatever. If it's on the weekend, they'll celebrate it on Monday, and they'll give everybody the holiday off. It's like a bank holiday. So keep in mind that's just a suggestion. You got escrow, what your escrow fees are, your title policies, additional terms. And the nice thing is this gives you all these, it gives you all the definitions, guys. So this is one of the best forms because if you're just a new person, you got all the definitions you need. So, and you can do time is of the essence, you get the buyers, it's contract interest. This is a great contract for wholesaling. It's available, like I said, in files tab, just a wholesaling contract. It's got the cure notice. It's got the purchase and sale of property, status of title. This will actually give you the authorization to assign the contract. So if you're going to wholesale, I'm not 100% sold on wholesale. Anybody that knows me knows I'm kind of mainly because I think there's just a lot of wholesaling people that are selling wholesaling programs that have been they get the first couple of wholesaling Ds and now they're selling it, now they're mentoring or being a guru. Or the other thing I have with wholesalers is I just think that I think that some brag too much and they, be a little bit more humble, and some take too much of the meat off the bone, or they don't understand the comps. Like how many deals you guys see where the comps are off, like really bad, and the wholesaler doesn't seem like they know how to do a comp, which is hard when it's a virtual wholesale. I see all the time. You guys will see it all the time, virtual wholesale. But realistically, I mean, it's hard. I wouldn't do an as-is property virtually if I'm gonna buy it to flip it. I'd like to know a little bit more about the property. So this is a great form for that, and we got a couple other wholesaling forms. I'm gonna be, and guys, we also have the A to B and the B to C, and 3 other ones that I downloaded last week. So if you guys can go through those, the ones that say A to B, the ones that say B to C, purchase and sale agreement, and the 3 wholesaling that I'm putting up this week. You go put that with the scope of work, the rehab forms, contractor agreement. Those 10 or 12 forms right there will make you money. So, and keep in mind, I'm not an attorney, so can't give you legal advice, but these forms these are what you need if you're going to be successful on the wholesaling end. And wholesaling and private money brokering are 2 ways, you guys. If you need to make money, you want to build your business, you want to start saving money for down payments, reserves, EMD, these are the 2 tracks that can get you there if you need to. That way you can build up over a year, 2 years, whatever. You can build up quite a bit of money to do your flips. And that's actually where I started because I was still planning to do a lot of other things when I became a private money broker. I just started making money. And you guys know that and you guys will see this if you see Lee Arnold. He markets his private money broker program. It's kind of like mine, but he also markets through Capital Syndicate, which is a partner of his. Kevin can attest to this. My 7th deal was a $7 million deal, and I put it together and I made $200,000 on it. That was my 7th deal. I did that in 2018. So, and I put the money back in the company. I wish I'd kept some of it. But yeah, so you can make really good money as a wholesaler. I mean, as a private money broker, you can make 1 to 5 points. I never made 5. I'd make 2 or 3 usually on, and we'll go back through starting June 7th. We'll actually be doing a private money broker specific class for 8 weeks, starting on the 7th. And then we'll still be doing the Mondays on June 5th and every Monday after that through. We're going to stop the week before Thanksgiving. So we're going to stop on the week before Thanksgiving on both programs. We won't do any sessions between whatever that Monday is. It's not the Monday of Thanksgiving, but the week before that. And then we won't do any sessions till 2024, just to kind of give you guys an update. So that is our wholesaling contract that I tried to go over last week. I'm gonna do 2 more, and then we're gonna start on on this week's stuff. This is I'm just trying to make up, guys, what you guys would have missed last week because it was slow. Sometimes I hate this. So this is, guys, a 3-option offer. It's a 2-part form. This is amazing. This, guys, this is subject. This is obviously seller carry, and they have balloons, and we're gonna do this a little bit more in depth. If you guys want to actually use this, then we're gonna do just a whole night on this. But this is an addendum to contract. It's a 2-part program. And it's like I'm gonna read this, guys, just so you guys can see. This contract is contingent upon buyer's inspection and approval of the property prior to transfer of title. Seller agrees to provide access to the buyer's representatives prior to transfer of title for inspection, repairs, and a market property. So you guys can see, buyer to purchase property located at 123 Main Street under one of the following options. You're giving them 3 on Gilligan's Island. So now that'll be in your head. Just remember the Gilligan's Island theme. Option 1, buyer to pay all cash and closes in 14 days of acceptance at any time before the expiration of the contract. On this, what I just said earlier, you could write in there government business days, right there, but hey, it's going to expire on this, but government business days. So if this expires May 31st, May 29th is, guess what, Memorial Day. So that way, if you put business days, you can actually get extended. Now you go on option 2, purchase price will be a little bit different, but you'll have option 2 is buyer to pay this much down, and some, then seller's going to carry the first mortgage in the amount of, so if you put $500 get out free online, and then you put how many years with monthly payments. So if you want to do this, for 5 years or 3 years or 1 year while you're trying to refi, you're going to do a refi, you're going to do a balloon payment, you're going to have a balloon payment. And so you're going to want to put this in there. And what the balloon payment's going to be, and how much is it going to be? Is it going to be an annual balloon payment or one at the end? And then you got to, and you put total revenue. The yellow is the important part. What the total revenue is after how many years of payments. So, you put use your amortization calculator, and you guys you can make your own scenarios up. And this is awesome because you're given the 3 choices. Generally, I'm going to say option 2 is generally going to be the one that's probably 50% of the people are going to accept. It's probably 25 and 25. Some people just want to do the purchase price, and you could even go, literally you can just put whatever, if you want to just do purchase price and you've got a hard money lender, private money lender, you can do that. If you're doing a seller carry, because you only have maybe $25,000 but you're going to rent it, you could actually calculate what your rental income is, all your expenses, and you could factor that in as well. Option 3 is purchase price. You're going to have a seller carry on your first mortgage in the amount of whatever amortization, just like the first one, with monthly payments in the amount of, so then you can figure out your monthly payments. Amortization calculator will give you 24 months, 36, 60, 120, 240, 360, however it is, with a balloon, and then you got the balloon payments. So you want to buy or sell, do some payments or whatever until you can refi, you can sell the property, there's a lot of different factors. So, and you're always showing them what the revenue is, that they're actually making money. And this is not an ideal if somebody needs to get rid of their property fast. And remember that on seller carry and some of the subject twos, you are paying their mortgage, but they are still literally, you got to be careful with the bank. You guys have all heard their stories that banks can actually cancel. They can call a note due if anything changes. So there's some finagling, and you're going to want to probably involve a real estate attorney who can look at their mortgage. So there is a little bit of work on this. If you do one of these, if they're in a mortgage where they've got you're going to want somebody who can read the mortgage and find out what they can do to, you don't want them to have the property all of a sudden, because you're out of the money at some point, what you've paid them. If something happens and it's foreclosed, it's hard sometimes to defend that. So that is the first part of the form. I'm going to do this other form, and then we're going to go on to tonight's business. So that is, like I said, it's a 2-part form. This is the purchase addendum. And like I said, I just hate this little glitch I have. One day I'll get this figured out a little bit more. This is just give me a second while it comes up. This is your purchase addendum for the purchase and sale agreement. So guys, when this accompanies it, and so obviously when you guys do a purchase price, we're going to get down into here. See addendum 1. Addendum 1 is what I just showed you highlighted in yellow. So you got to fill these out with cash deposit to be held in escrow by, whatever it is. Let's say it's whatever whoever the person is of the escrow company, and the amount of how much the cash deposit is going to be deposited within 3 days of settlement. Subject to, so this is a subject to an assumption of mortgage in favor of bearing interest at how much percent per annum. So like go back to your amortization calculator, and payable has principal and interest per month, having approximate present principal rate, balance of how much the principal is going to be. Purchase money mortgage and note bearing interest at how many percentage on terms set forth herein in the principal amount of. So there's some things you gotta kind of just copy over from the first addendum. Then you're gonna get into what the time for acceptance and effective date. That is the next thing you'll hear title, evidence, time for acceptance, and then before May 31st, 2023, you put that in as that they have until then to, obviously you might want to have it 3 days, 5 days or whatever. You can also check, guys, here's the thing, you can check in different states that you're actually doing the deal in and see if they have any rules. Obviously, you can find those on, like in Colorado, you can go to the Department of Regulatory Affairs, and that's where the real estate division is. And you can find information on DORA's website about, how long they got to, accept a contract and make it effective. So they got the closing date when the closing date is. So let's say they have 3 days to accept it, and then they close on June 1st, 2023. So that's really a solid, this is really a solid 2-part form. So you guys want to go through it, just download these and go through it on your own. And then next week we'll actually, if you guys got questions on it, that way you can ask questions. And then we're going to basically, guys, starting June 5th, this is all we're going to be doing is using all the forms that I've given you guys. And we're going to be doing discussions and helping you guys, when you guys are making offers. Hopefully, we'll have the lenders on, the in-house lenders that can do the gap and transaction funding. And I mean, literally from June 5th, we're going to be, the rest of the year through Thanksgiving, we're going to be just helping you really make deals. And so using all the stuff we've taught you guys and all the deals. So that's just a couple things in your arsenal, guys, that you can download. So that's going to be pretty solid. So like I said, we got the 3 option offer. There's a lot of wholesaling forms and documents that are in there now. I'm putting a couple more this week. And then, like I said, you want the contract tracker, and we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff. And then the 2.0, as soon as it gets back from revision, you guys have 8,000 contacts, lenders and investors. A little bit better organized than it was when it came out in April, just because I added 7 more databases. So Matt's cool, welcome, buddy. How are you? So there's a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah. So a lot of good information, guys, and we got like 40 people now, all together. So, like I said, I think June 5th and June 7th. Remember, June 7th we'll start a private money broker kind of for about 8 weeks. We'll go 8 Wednesday nights, and it's just like I said, if you can't make both and you just want to prefer one, just you'll still be able to get the videos from the ones you miss, and you can just do them. As you guys can see, I got the umbrella going. Gonna make this a little bit more high tech, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of videos that are gonna be just for you guys to watch, that are gonna go through how to be a private money broker, how to actually make 1 to 3%, actually, up to 5 points. A couple lenders will pay up to 5 points. Lending One will give you up to 5, or Vizio will give you up to 5 points in some programs that they offer, which is really good. And you go out and do $100,000, you're making $5,000 as a broker fee. And remember that it's in section 3. I think it's, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 378 on HUD 1, where you get the broker fee. So when you guys are dealing with your deals in the closing, and you're dealing with the transaction coordinator, so most of these lenders like Vizio and Kogo, you're going to have a processor, underwriter. You're never going to talk to the underwriter. If you're a client, maybe once in a while. If you're a broker, generally, if you're talking to the underwriter, they're asking you some question that you got to get an answer to right back. And the transaction coordinator. The transaction coordinator is basically hardcore, and they are detail oriented. They're the people that get everything to the title company, escrow. They handle all the paperwork. So they're going to send you usually the day before the closing, just to make sure everything's right. So making sure in that section or wherever, because they don't have to necessarily put it in 378. They can put it in any of the blanks. If you guys have seen a HUD 1, you guys can download the HUD 1. I've got a blank one in the files tab. they can add it anywhere and say broker fee, and it would be make sure that if you guys are signed up for broker, make sure the broker fee is actually made up to either you or your entity, preferably your entity. Most of the lenders you can broker for are going to require you to sign up as an LLC or a corporation. They're not going to pay you directly as a person. So, and you can go to the IRS and get your EIN online now. They're out of the COVID stuff, so you can actually get a. I just got one from my hot sauce company last Friday. Basically got it in like it took me 5 minutes online. So, and sometimes you'll have to get a bank account or something that. Sometimes they can kind of work with you a little bit on that if you can, there's some different things you can do on there. But make sure if you guys are doing HUD-1, if you guys are you're making sure that the lender that you're brokering for puts your commission, your broker fee on there, because that directs the title company to. But most of the time, it's going to be direct deposit. Obviously, that's the way things are these days. Sometimes they might give you a check. I've only gotten like 2 checks out of the 200 something deals I've done. I only had like 2 checks, and the rest were all direct deposits, which was nice. So like I said, guys, there's a lot of forms coming up this week that are going to be, like I said, 3 more wholesale forms. And then obviously we got some more stuff with scope of work and contractors. There's a lot of people, and you guys will see a lot of people complain about contractors, which is kind of sucks. Also, guys, here's another thing we want to talk about while we're on. So everybody is hearing, this is something I'm kind of telling you guys right now. If you guys are experiencing a lot of people, you're going to probably expect a lot of people are going to not be happy with their property tax increases, and that may be nationally, but it may be regionally. So in Park County, Colorado, which is convenient, honestly, where South Park TV show is based off of, the county next to mine, it's a very rural, it's like, it used to be a quote, a Denver police officer made a quote about a police chase back in the 80s. Kevin might will remember this. There was a guy that robbed a bank and the police chased him, and Denver's Channel 4 helicopter, the news helicopter, landed in front of the guy's car to block him because they'd run over a police officer and killed him and stuff. And so the Channel 4 helicopter, like, literally on TV, while everyone's watching the chase on TV. This is the 80s. This is Fox News and all the stuff we have now, landed right in front of it. So Park County the officer was like, if you go back past the searching point on 285, which runs from like Denver all the way to like the Four Corners, down where Mel's area in Farmington and stuff. If you go back a certain point, it goes back like 40. That was back in the 80s. Obviously, it's a lot different now. But they literally, one person sent me a thing, and their property values went up 61% since last year, and their tax bill, that's their property tax bill. So there's a lot of opportunity out there coming up, and I really think we need to look at how we can help people. Some people are going to lose their homes, or they're not. It's going to be think about a lot of tax sales, because a lot of these aren't going to go into foreclosure, but a lot of them are going to get dinged by the tax people. So there's some tools if you can make friends with realtors or people that you can do CMOs, because I'm just saying realtors more often than anybody, because they have licensing and stuff that, the tax administrator or whatever may take what they have more seriously, or if it comes back and let's say your property is worth $1 million, but really it should be worth 750 because it just got a huge, ridiculous increase. They can do a CMO, they can do all the stuff they do to price and to make offers and their software, their MLS. So make friends with some realtors, because they can help you guys get clients, and you can probably market this as a way to kind of, you're out there trying to help people, but eventually, if somebody does lose their home or they have a tax problem or something, if you go out and try to help them and you offer this to them, that may help you get them. If all of a sudden if things hit, shit hits the fan, they're going to keep you in their mind because you tried to help them through the situation. If you're going in, a lot of people are going to be going in, yeah, I'm a wholesaler, I'm going to go make this much money because it's going to get a tax sale. I don't know if that's really, to me, I don't want to go make money that way. I'd rather go and build up, like try to help some people, and a couple may come my way and try to help them out, because like I said, 61% is a lot. And the average home price where I live is over $1 million. And Ari's friend Danny, now that Ari's on, Danny just sold a $2.5 million house last week. So a pretty nice deal up in Evergreen. But yeah, now that Ari's on, I had to give him shit. What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm alive.
Cool. Anything to add? Anything
I
going
was
on?
bored, so I came to harass you.
Cool. What's it? I mean, so yeah. So guys, we need to. I want to make sure we're all like making sure everybody's getting their calls and stuff. Zeke, I still think I need to connect with you after last week. We still need to do call? Okay. I'll be available tomorrow. And anytime you want, like afternoon or whatever, I'll be
Yeah,
good.
I forgot to give you my number last week, so.
Yeah, I'll just text. I'll text you mine. You text me yours after we're done, and we'll just try to get on the same page. Last week, guys, and I'll tell you guys after recording. Actually, I just put it on so it's not. Well, I mean, to kind of tell you guys. So my mom's gonna have a biopsy this week. She had cancer back in '96, and all that stuff, and she had a pacemaker put in last year, and then it was defective. 6 months later, she had to get it replaced. So I'm gonna be kind of doing some stuff from time to time with that. So I'm gonna be up and about it when I'm gonna be also, I'll be able to work and stuff from her house if I'm up there and over there and stuff like that. But just to kind of let you guys know that's kind of why I wasn't visible on Friday and Saturday too much like I normally am. But so we'll know more about that later. And then we're doing the Ari you missed earlier. I kind of said we're gonna be doing the Del Morgan stuff with PMA towards the mid to end of the year. Third and fourth quarter.
What are we doing?
The Del Morgan, the investment bank.
Oh, that's actually finally happening.
Well, we're gonna initiate it, but we're gonna, yeah, it's gonna be initiated. It's still gonna take a little bit of time.
So we probably should get a board meeting together and discuss that and update everybody.
Yeah, and I did that I did that one thing a couple weeks ago, but obviously we only had like 3 or 4 people.
No, I'm talking about our board.
Well, no, that's what we'll get our. But I mean, I did a little update because I have Mr. Airport was on, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, Kevin is on, Anthony and Angel and Jesse. So guys, like I said, if I owe you a call, June 5th, like I said, we're really going to be doing this and the deal discussions, deal desk. People presenting deals, putting a lot of the stuff to work. Hopefully, Bill's getting his couple deals done with Dan. I don't know, Jesse. You haven't talked to Jesse in a couple of days, so Jesse Jesse's the first go-to guy if anybody wants to pass anything to Dan, and then Jesse's kind of his paywall in a way, to use the right term. So Dan's got a few programs that he can get some deals done. And sorry, that's the same Dan we talked to last year with your buddy Israel. So he's been on like the last 4 or 5 calls. Yeah, so let me hey Kevin, what's going on? What's up with you? This is weird. I haven't actually talked to you. Well, no, I did talk to you today.
That's just sitting here.
Okay, well, anything going on your, shit's happening, the world's collapsing?
Well, it's all still morphing, but I'm thinking sometime, we'll be lucky if we can get through July at this point, the way everybody's screwing up so much.
Yeah.
Everybody's stampeding to figure out who can strip them more spectacularly. So I can describe this. It just looks crazy. But yeah, I'm just still monitoring it. I'm hoping I'll be able to get a better feel for it by the end of the week. Rickards is going nuts. Stockman's having puppies, and Casey doesn't know what he's doing. He just can't keep up with it. And then he's telling everybody to get out of Bitcoin, and he was the spokesperson for Bitcoin for the longest time. So, KitCo is having all kinds of trouble trying to keep up with everything on the international side as far as where things look from their side of things. And it's just, if something doesn't happen here, I'll be thoroughly amazed. It's just all there is to it. So.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to get the PMA board together.
I would keep an eye on bank stocks. If you're planning on getting a bank account somewhere, you need to kind of get a look at that, because there's 3 or 4 more that they basically took a nosedive on the market because their stock prices dropped, and they're starting to just kind of swoop in and grab these as they go. But there's really not much more they're going to be able to do with that, because there's no money to be able to bail them out.
Well, I
So-
think the trick for that is to actually follow Congress and just see which banks they're pulling
Congress
out
is
of and
toast.
which ones
Yeah.
they're buying into.
Nope. That's completely out to lunch right now, and nobody wants to get anywhere near any of that in Congress right now. So that's no
No,
longer.
you know what?
an issue.
I know, Kevin. I was cracking
Well,
a
we're
joke
not
because
being
they caught
facetious
enough.
about something I'm talking about, Ari, because this is actually the end of the line for the United States at this point.
There's a lot of shit going on, guys. If you're
Yeah.
listening, Kevin's getting this. Like I'm seeing some of these because I don't have all the
Yeah,
screenshots
it's
he
just-
has. Yeah, I'm trying
Trying
to
to keep
help
up
you. I'm
with
trying to
it.
get focused on getting all the documents and stuff and lenders and all
Yeah.
that for you guys. But yeah, there's some stuff going on out there that's like, you know,
So
and
if
I
you
just
guys-
told you about the property tax increases.
Yeah,
Colorado
that's
has
part of
this thing
this.
called, well, yeah, Colorado has the Tabor refunds. So last year, everybody in Colorado that met certain requirements got $750 from the state. You know, so some people got a tax return and some, you know, and all that stuff. So this year they are deciding, hey, we got all these property tax increases. Well, we'll cut down on what we'll do something about the property tax increases, and you guys can vote on it. But if the wording of the legislature came out where if you vote that you still get your Tabor refund this year, you agree not to get it after next year. And that's how there's because the one party does not like the Tabor. It's called the Taxpayers Bill of Rights. It's been around for 30 years. Then the fire chiefs all came out and said, well, no, we need this tax thing. If you take the Tabor away, there's some things in the Tabor amendment originally that helped the fire departments, not like Denver or Aurora Fire, the city departments, but helps the districts. Like you guys heard me talk about my friends at Foothills and Evergreen Fire. It actually would literally take about $3 million of funding from Evergreen Fire if they killed this tax thing. And the legislature, today's the last day of the legislature. They have to get everything done by 11:59 tonight. Otherwise, they're done for the year. So, you know, and ironically, my brother's in the state legislature. He's actually on the Judiciary Committee and the Finance Committee. So he has the state budget go through him, and he has all the criminal and civil laws go through him. He actually does oversight for the Attorney General. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, if you guys want to put a plan together and try to, you know, help reach out to these people if they're going to have property tax increases. Like, you know, I was saying earlier, if you're friends with realtors, you got an MLO or you got a way to help people and you can do the, you know, help people like, hey, their property's really not worth 2 million. You know, you can actually probably go help them fight it. And there is some opportunity there. And then if you can help 25 or 30 people, you might get 2 or 3 deals out of it because inevitably some people aren't going to be able to win. And that's one thing Danny's doing right now, big time. Danny's actually doing he just put out like all over his social media and he's taken out an ad in the paper in Evergreen that he's actually he's going to do CMOs and competitive market analysis, things like that for people. So that they can fight Jefferson County on it and say, hey, my house isn't worth $2 million or it's not worth $25 million. The house on Chris Drive is for sale for right now for $25 million. Yeah, it's ironic because the house 2 doors up from my parents' house is 4.75 million right now, and this house are selling for about it's under 3.5 about 2 years ago. So it's kind of amazing how I like to see my parents' house, you know, and this is a lot of this is just artificial and it's inflation related and all that. So it's kind of like, so that's really what I want to go to as far as tonight's new material, guys. Here is a good marketing tool to go out on social media, especially if you're, you know, and start saying, hey, you need some help. We'll put some resources together to help you fight this. Because like I said, if you help 20 people, you're still going to have 4 or 5 of them are probably going to have some kind of tax issue and they're going to have to get out of they might have to get out of their property or they're going to have to pay like, imagine, you know, so they pay, so in Evergreen, the Park and Recreation District, the fire department has a part of the tax. It's like a percentage and then it's a percentage of that percentage. So I think like $1 million house, you pay like $5,000 in taxes and it's split between the different entities. So that, you know, our fire department has a $13 million budget. I think the Parks and Rec have like an $8 or $9 million budget, you know, and that's tax money because obviously the Parks and Recreation Department also charges Evergreen Lake. They have people that pay like $3 or $5 or whatever it is to ice skate in the winter and stuff. So they obviously have revenue, whereas, you know, the fire department has their revenue is like building permits, you know, inspections and things like that they charge for. And obviously ambulance, you know, shit, they charge $3,500 to take you to the hospital in Denver. That's the starting. Oh, Ari, how much do you think you guys an ambulance run costs now if it goes 30 miles to level
I don't
one?
know, I know that New York City just jumped their price, I think, from like 900 and change to like $1,200 or $1,300 for an ambulance ride. But
Ours is
this is
yeah, ours
all,
is
it's all inflationary shit, and that's part of the problem is what we're starting, I think at least, we're starting to approach runaway inflation. And it's part of the problem, but you know, you were talking about the tax rates for the houses. And one thing that's coming to mind is, I don't know what they're gonna do, because on one hand, there's all these tax bills that are gonna be coming. On the other hand, what are they gonna do? Kick everybody out of their houses? Because there's gonna be a tax revolt at the rate you know, eventually it's gonna be a tax revolt. People are just gonna be like, fuck it, we're not paying taxes, come get me. Like, what are they gonna do about it? I mean,
and it's gonna affect
getting stupid.
it's gonna affect more the middle class than anybody because I mean people in my town have resources. I mean, but still, I mean, when you go from $5,000 with your total tax bill, and all of a sudden you're paying 9 or 10,000, you're getting a
Yeah, but
60%.
and people in your town have guns too. They're gonna come knock on their door and try to kick them out, and everybody's gonna pull their guns out and be like, fuck off. And that's what's gonna happen, because you know, it's one thing if you're evicting one person for a tax bill. If you're gonna come for half the town, I mean, you're gonna end up with a tax revolt. I mean, that's what we're gonna end up seeing. I mean, it's just getting stupider and stupider by the day. And the
Yeah, that's what I
problem is,
said.
these assholes in Washington are just printing money. That's what this boils down to. People are just fucking printing money. And until that stops, this ain't gonna stop. I mean,
Well,
that's
it's the same way in Colorado. I mean, I'm watching I watch the legislature now more than ever because my brother's on it, and it's like, and he's actually like, he's like, he was Republican, he changed to Democrat, but he's in that like 20% that could beat both, and then you got everybody on the far right and everybody on the far left, and
what
they
is
hate each
mental.
other, and they're
Does,
yeah.
does mental illness run in your family or something, Nate? Your brother switched parties? Like, what's up with that? Something's wrong there.
He has a 28-year career as a Marine JAG officer, educated at Georgetown and Cornell. So I'm not really gonna mess with his legal mind.
I was gonna say, you're sure it's the same family?
I don't know how to take. He's actually did a good job. He was actually started to get off real estate. So they tried to pass some. I don't know. I'm just gonna say I don't know how many people have different feelings on Second Amendment. So I'm not making judgment on this, but it came down to where they were doing an assault weapons ban, and it was in committee. And there's 13 people in the committee. I think it's 9-4 Democrats because there's like 45 to 19 Democrats to Republicans in the House in the state. And it came down. They needed four. I forget what it was. 4 Democrats had to side with the Republicans to block it, and it came down. It was 6-6, and he's the newest person on the board. So like at 1:30 in the morning, because this is one of those sessions that goes into like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning. They've gone all night on Friday. He's the no vote that helps block it. Basically, because he told his constituents. So he was the first. Literally, the first person as a registered Democrat in House District 43 in Colorado to ever win as a Democrat, because that's how. And he's conservative. I mean, he's not. I think he just really changed because I don't think he was. His whole thing started with suing the school board over some stuff. And he was the plaintiff and all that. And then I think he just decided to run for the district seat because it was going to be open. And so he was and he told his constituents, I'm not going to vote for new things, but I'm not going to roll back the old ones. I'm not going to change existing laws, but there's some things I'm not going to do. And he told them that. He was up front. He's done almost exactly what he's told he's told the people who voted for him what he was going to do. Obviously there's some things that come up that they don't plan for, but it's just a weird situation in Colorado and seeing what's going on here. And obviously, Zeke, we're talking about Wyoming and stuff like that. I definitely Wyoming looks like a lot better situation for a lot of people. I've thought about moving up there because I'd still be close enough to my parents, being a couple hours away, but man, Colorado's getting really expensive.
I'm actually thinking of one of the Dakotas. There's a bunch of paramedic jobs up in the Dakotas, and I could go do like I could go to get a job doing like 48 there and do like 2 calls in a shift on a fly car and not have to lift anything. And I'm like, that might work for me. So I'm thinking of, I was looking at the Dakotas.
Yeah. I mean, it's like weird. They're having a hard time even finding people for here. Evergreen's considered to be there's a lot of guys that want to, they try to move up from Denver Health. Obviously, being a paramedic for Denver Health, it used to be the knife and gun club. I mean, literally, and coming up to Evergreen is like a breath of fresh, it's like vacation. Like you might get 1 or 2, you'll get some calls a day, but they have a community paramedic that handles like all the in community
Yeah.
stuff. It's like they have that PRN program.
I'm familiar.
So yeah, now to get back to real estate, guys, I think this is just an avenue where if you guys are listening, if you're not on tonight or you're on, this is an avenue where you might be able to go in and help some people. Maybe you don't make any money on it directly, but indirectly you might get 4 or 5 deals out of it. And try to hook up with some contractors. And like I said, Danny's got a great program. I mean, he's already reaching out and hooking up with people and meeting them and stuff, discussing, his, what he can do to help people with his platform and stuff. As far as like trying to fight the county. And he's got, obviously he knows people at the Clerken County because he has to do a lot of stuff with title and escrow, and stuff like that here. So that's just an avenue, guys, you should look into if you're not on the call right now or you are trying to figure out how you can reach out and make a little bit of a name for yourself, trying to help. It's a great marketing thing. And I'm not talking about just, doing it just for your sole benefit, but if you can help people, hey, fight the man. Cause
Hey,
the
Nate,
man's,
I got a book. I just wanted to pop in, say hello and see what was
yeah,
going
no
on,
problem, dude.
but
It was
I
good
gotta
catching
run.
up with you. We'll talk to you.
All right, man, I'll talk to you later.
We'll probably do the PMA board meeting in June. So
I mean, whatever
couple
it is,
weeks.
I mean, if we're gonna start doing this, we need to start ramping that back up and getting that, and
yeah,
getting that
I'm
going.
working on 2 things for it. So I need to do a little bit more diligence on it. But yeah, it's cool. It's good catching up with you.
All right,
So
take care.
guys, like I said, we have a lot of things going to go up. And so, like I said, July 7th, and we'll be doing it 5:30 instead of 6 because we have some East Coast people. We will be doing 8 weeks of private money broker. By the end of the 8 weeks, you guys will see I posted the curriculum. And we'll still be doing on June 5th, the Monday nights like this. Really, right now at this point, I'm going to get the 2.0 up, and we're really transitioning to Deal Desk because everybody's kind of burned out on the paperwork. So I've got all the final paperwork, and I've still got a lot more to put up there, but we've got the stuff that you need for what we're going to do. So if you really want to do like 2 tracks, like if you want to, we're going to do 8 weeks of the private money broker, 4 weeks of really doing wholesaling using gap and transaction funding. By then we'll be able to get some of our in-house guys to be able to start helping you with some deals where you can go out there and actually wholesale and make some assignment fees. And then we're going to do we're going to end the year doing 4 weeks. We're actually going to break down the analyzers, and I'm going to throw some numbers at you guys, throw some deals, and you guys can use the analyzers to go through and start learning how to, the Excels and stuff. So the next couple of weeks, we're gonna show you the analyzers, just like I did tonight. What I'm trying to show you guys all the way back to January, and the paperwork is not to go line by line, show you what the paperwork is, and then you guys can kind of learn how to use it. And now June 5th, June 7th, we're going to put all this to work. So it's going to be pretty incredible. Trying to put it all to work so you guys start making some deals and making some money. So, like I said, it just gets to that point where we are obviously taking Memorial Day off. So we'll have two more Mondays. And we'll take Memorial Day off, and then we'll come back. We'll be doing June 5th and June 7th. And then, like I said, we'll take that Monday of July 4th weekend, even though July 4th isn't on a Monday. We'll take that weekend off. But then we'll take Labor Day off, and then I think Veterans Day. And then we'll go right up until that week before Thanksgiving. So now let me go ahead and take this off the recording, and then we can talk about deals.